Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Paige Stafford.
And I'm Ariel Herr. Welcome to Prime, where we explore topics that touch your everyday life and offer insight from today's lifestyle leaders.
Today, Dr. Richard Fine from the Legacy at Willow Bend is here to give us advice on keeping our New Year's resolution for a healthy year. But first, a lesson in redesign.
If you're looking to make a change in your home for the new year, why not consider repurposing a college student's bedroom as a home office or a guest bedroom?
Designer Dan Lee with Resort and Retirement is here to walk us through this redesign, and Dan helped us design the set. So welcome, Dan.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and Happy New Year to both of you.
Thank you.
It's an exciting topic we have today. As we've entered the new year, 2012, we're all looking for change. We want to quit spending money, and we certainly want to lose some weight and change our life and reach some new goals, don't we?
Absolutely.
And today I thought we would review a project that was done for a family that had a spare bedroom that hadn't been used for quite a while.
And it's a home office.
It is a home office.
Before we get into it, I have to ask, now home office trend, it kind of seems like it's a trend, but you're saying it's a necessity now, right?
It really is. With technology being as it is and people working from homes, many homes in fact have two offices, one for the wife as well as the husband or the partner. And it's just become a real selling point. So it's important when you go to sell your house as well.
No, I'm in the process of trying to sell my house, which is a nightmare. But I have to ask, so should I have a home office stage when I actually put it on the market, or do I stick with having an extra bedroom?
I think most buyers are looking for a home office. It doesn't have to be large. It can be in a small space. But if you don't have to give up important bedrooms or other important spaces, definitely create a home office.
But you just said saving money. So you say that we can do this. I'm not sure if I believe you, but let's take a look. We have some before pictures here that we're looking at.
Well, we do. And today I tried to bring a project to you that was really inexpensive to create. This is a project that costs less than $300. So just imagine if you don't have to do a major renovation or remodeling to your home, and you can just repurpose space you already have, you'll be amazed at what you can find under the bed and in the closets and in other places that you can bring out and use in your office. And it's really all about getting organized for the new year, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, this is a bedroom that was used by a college student, and he's been gone for a while, and it's just sat idle.
Right.
And of course, real estate's expensive, and so you need to repurpose it and make it work for you.
And a college student that probably is not there that much to use it.
Rarely.
Right?
And you see it was about being an all-boy space. It had a skin on the wall and some dark colors, and basically didn't have a lot of life to it.
Right.
So we took that room and looked at what we could keep. And of course, painting is one of the cheapest things you can do, but even not painting the space, we were able to accomplish a real workable office.
Well, I feel you commit when you paint, whereas there are changes we can make that can be a bit more temporary.
That's right. That was the feature that worked with this, is that everything was flexible, and I'm going to show you some components that made it very flexible.
Excellent.
Then this is another shot of the room. It did have some built-ins, which was nice to work with, and it saved us having to go out and buy office furniture.
Especially for an office, yeah.
Right. So, and then of course, this is the solution.
These are after pictures.
These are the after pictures, exactly. And we took a couple of rockers from the porch and cleaned them up and brought them in. These are actually the same kind of rockers John Kennedy used in the White House in his office.
Excellent.
Oh, wow.
This particular owner has a goal to acquire a lake home, and so isn't it nice to be able to be in your home office working around an environment that's part of your goal?
Absolutely.
We took a photograph and we had it enlarged and put on canvas, and very inexpensively just hung it on the wall as a super graphic.
And
Very unique.
And got rid of that skin and that big, very distinct bed and made room to actually be able to use.
That's exactly right. And it now has a focus point, and it made the room, which is a basically 10 by 12 room, so it's 120 square feet. It made the small room look very large.
Wonderful.
And it reflects a lot of light.
When we have accessories like we have our sweet rowboat here.
Found these in some closets, a number of little trinkets that made it theme appropriate for the lake house. And then we incorporated, of course, the blues, which would be very nautical. And you'll notice in that particular after shot, we actually just took a picture frame with a piece of glass, flipped it upside down, and put it on a table base.
Oh, wow.
So it made a very inexpensive coffee
That's
table.
great. You'll see that table base. That's great.
And then this is another shot after the project was finished. And I'm going to show you some features around the desk that work very nicely.
And organization was really big in this, which I think is another New Year's resolution that people have, is to be more organized. And I like some of, my favorite is what you've brought here. Tell us about this.
Okay. Well, this piece is shown in the photograph, and you can see that it actually was something that was found at a tag sale. It was a display in a store, and it's now being used for bill collection, for organizing your thank you notes for all those nice gifts you got during Christmas.
Now, I'm seeing things like this in Pottery Barn, Ballard Designs. I mean, and you said that you found this just at a tag sale.
At a tag sale.
That's fantastic.
We paid $5 for that.
Well, I love how much space it creates. Everybody usually bills are so cluttered and you can't see anything, but I love that this creates just a very nice, distinct aesthetic for it.
It is. It's great, and it rotates, and you can move it around and use it as you choose. These simple little boxes are great organizational tools that were put up on the bookcases. We picked them up at Target, $6 for this.
I used those in college throughout my dorm. They're great.
Aren't they wonderful? And they're a nice color. They're easy to keep clean. You can label the fronts of them.
Right.
Wonderful.
And then we have a similar, bigger box that
Those are
works
the ones
as
I
a
love.
file drawer.
Wonderful.
And watch this. For only $8, you can take this unit, well, there we
Oh,
go.
wow.
Fold it up,
Oh,
store it
wonderful.
away. So it makes it
Absolutely.
very easy to use.
That's great. Now, how much did we spend? You said we spent $300 on this redesign.
$300 on this redesign because the cabinetry was already there.
Right.
But we did no painting, we changed no
Great.
flooring, we simply repurposed furniture that was already in the house, and we brought in some pillows from Target,
Wonderful.
as well as
Love me some
created the
Target.
graphic. Most
Yes.
of the money really was in the graphic piece.
Right.
But you can downsize that if you need to scale down your budget.
And how much time did we take?
It took a day.
Wonderful.
It took a day to actually take apart the bed, move the things out, run around the house, and find the interesting things that you could put back in the space.
Right, that's fantastic. So we're talking about what we want to be doing in 2012, redesigning, repurposing. What else are you seeing for 2012?
Oh, I think in 2012 we're going to continue to embrace technology in every room of the house.
Right.
And so it is important. This particular space has a flat screen monitor, of course. They take
Wonderful.
very little room. They become very affordable. You can get, of course, the keyboards without the mouse and everything, and so that makes it very nice. And you can take a countertop like this and just simply drill through it, easily buy at any hardware store an escutcheon plate that will allow you to have a grommet, and you can rewire your wall unit easily.
Okay, so we got a Wii for Christmas, and the first thing I thought of when I got that Wii was what an eyesore that thing was going to be. And so in thinking, how can we, in incorporating technology, I mean, the cords and the games and all of that stuff, do you have any suggestions for viewers that, how can we make it pretty? I mean, it's kind of the female and the male trying to live in one place together.
That is pretty easy to manage. If you look at what's been done in the corporate environment, we have all kinds of sleeves that can be added to the underside of countertops and tables. And so you can go out to a hardware store now and find those, and it works out very nicely to be able to thread the electrical and the data cords and hide them.
Right.
And again, because things have gotten so narrow and small, it doesn't take a big, deep cabinet any longer to put your equipment in.
Right. When I think things like this, I mean, I'm imagining all those Wii controllers, that something like this, to be able to just stow them and put them away. It's not just for bills or anything.
Perfectly.
Exactly.
And it holds CDs and all kinds of other items.
Right.
And you can find now scanners and printers that are basically about 24 inches long or less and only a couple of inches deep. So they
Right.
don't take a lot of space.
Right.
Well, I always find, I don't know if you noticed this, but like when I am flipping through the catalogs, they will have a home office, but it's totally not functional. I mean, it's just a glass top table with an orchid on it, whereas
Right.
I think it's important to be able to show how you can actually live in and use a home office, as opposed to just always staging it.
Always keep your home office very flexible. In this particular space, the countertop was wide enough that you could pull up a second chair. So if you're working on your taxes with your significant other, you can work side by side.
I don't want to sit side by side when we're doing taxes. Sorry about that.
Well, I think keep it very simple to start with and get accustomed to the environment.
Right.
And then you'll be happier with your product, and you can always spend more money later.
Oh, I can always spend more money, absolutely.
She doesn't have a problem with that.
And always remember as well that lighting is important.
Absolutely.
Task lighting is really important. So have good task lighting at the work surfaces, but also good ambient lighting in the room in general.
Right.
This room had very poor lighting. We were able to regulate the lighting at the window
Right.
to add a little bit of mood lighting around the seating. It makes it very soft, very warm. It makes it a place you want to go and spend time.
And that bright canvas, I think, really helped, brighten up the room because there were such dark walls. I think that helped too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And then to be able to look at a sailboat that you hopefully will own in the future, it just makes you want to work a little harder in your office.
Well, by saving money, then hopefully you can actually help get closer to that goal. So I have a question with regards to staging a house. Whenever we were taking pictures to put my house on the market, it was very, very interesting thinking of, you kind of felt awkward with some of the positioning because maybe that's not how you'd be living in it. Are there any tips that you have with regards to staging in conclusion?
That's a very good question, Ariel. I think the important thing is to not look at it with your eyes, but look
Right.
at it with the buyer's eyes.
Okay.
Sometimes, of course, we have to create things that are very universal, so
Right.
it will appeal to the masses, but we need to nonetheless create an environment that's got a wow factor.
Right.
So at least the buyer can walk away from your house and distinguish it from other homes that they may be viewing. I think, of course, color can be used and should be used, and so often we don't see a lot of color in model homes. We don't see them in homes that have been staged.
Right.
It's very easy to add color with accessories, with pillows, with draperies, and not have to change the entire environment. So the
Right.
future buyer can understand that they can live and work in that house.
And
Keeping things that are too personal out of the space is probably a good idea because you don't want them to see it only as your home, but rather as something they could own and
With the
enjoy.
nautical theme and John F. Kennedy's rocking chairs, I think we can definitely do that. Well, if you want to get in touch with Dan, you can reach him at Resort and Retirement. That's at www.resortandretirement.com, or you can call him at 214-880-0910 and hopefully introduce this kind of reorganization and a fresh look into your home this year. Still to come on Prime, we have Dr. Richard Fine, who's going to help us with some tips on how we can get moving in the new year.
Welcome back. How are you doing on your New Year's resolution so far? Okay, our next guest is here to talk about how just moving in 2012 will benefit you greatly.
Dr. Richard Fine, who has a background in counseling psychology, is the fitness director at the Legacy at Willow Bend, and he's here with some tips on how baby boomers can get into fitness this year.
Right, okay, so many people want to be fit and stay healthy, but have problems making specific goals. What are some New Year's resolutions for baby boomers to focus on in 2012?
First is a call for action. The immediacy of saying, I want to take charge of my life, my physical and my mental health, and I deserve it and believe in it.
And that's the hardest step.
The hardest step, yes, is that first initial step to be visible, to be vulnerable, to be seen. With that, that's hope and intention. But to ground that and develop it, we need to develop a plan. A plan that has a focus towards what am I going to do with the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and how. So we need to get specific. We need to get to clear. But most important is it's a process. We need to participate a step at a time. Hard by the yard, stitch by an inch. Hope, get started, take the first step.
Well, getting started and taking the first step. I mean, I have plenty of hope, let me tell you, but it's that first step.
Because you have the thought in your head, but you need to make a plan, because you're not going to stick with it otherwise.
In addition, what my belief is the most passionate thing is hire a board of directors for your plan. Go out and recruit your friends, let them know your plan, ask for help and encouragement, be accountable, find somebody in the clutch when you might abandon it who's going to help you stick on course. This is a change internally, but we need to rely on other people and take our job. We don't get there alone.
Right.
So many resolutions fail, great hopes, stop, disillusionment, merry-go-round. We need people and a focus to keep it going.
I can speak to that. I know that if there's something I want to do, and I think I'm going to fail, I just don't tell anybody. And so that's a really good idea.
Yeah, we keep it secret.
That's right.
Then when we hide, we can get out.
Exactly.
So wrap your mind around it, make a plan, and get a social network around you.
And look at it as a step. In other words, make a New Year's resolution each day. I resolve to make one creation of my life towards fitness and health. I have an intention, one day at a time, I recreate it.
So why do you think so many resolutions fail for baby boomers?
Well, you said it so well. We hide it, we create hopes, we don't have substance, and we don't really recruit people. Making a change is really the key of resolutions. It's frightening. We say we want things, we always desire, but the emotional change, to move from what we know to what we unknown, is like a big abyss. It's a fertile void. So we're trying to get across a strange place, and when it gets tough, we go back to the familiar, even if we don't like the familiar.
I do that all the time.
Well, and you know, I think that what you find also, and that is that sometimes you can have other people that are going to also work towards those goals with you. I think you have no idea what other people are actually wanting to do, and if I can have somebody that's going to be fit with me, exactly.
One of the things that exercise does, it becomes a buddy. As you do something external, it brings something internal. It wakes us up. I want to give you 2 general thoughts. Some people love to exercise. It's a key of them. It's their identity and expression. And other people are deeply frightened of sweating, their heart beating, fatigue. They're unfamiliar in their bodies. They're great artists. They're great directors. Each of us has capacities and strength. Learning emotional comfort while you're moving is the key to longevity and the renewal of your plan. Exercise synergizes you.
Now, I'm finding that today there's just such an information overload when it comes to health and fitness. So can you kind of narrow down 5 of the best exercises?
Yeah, I'm going to give you the content.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you behind the scenes what to keep it going.
Good.
First and foremost, cardiovascular fitness is important. The strength and health of our heart and our lungs, basically the foundation of our life. It also is the #1 thing for boomers to release stress and cortisol in the bloodstream. Nothing quicker than getting stress hormones than 20 to 30 minutes of cardio.
And I can do that with my Wii, right?
Hey, a Wii is a step forward.
Hey, good.
Wii bowling.
Again, make your goal, I'm going to be a participant of my life and show up.
Right.
As Woody Allen said, show up. Just show up. The next is going to be strength training. We know several things happen in the aging process. We lose muscle mass. We begin to get less elastic in terms of our contraction. Our connective tissues, ligaments and tendons start to stiffen. We need to do strength training to build that foundation. It's also good for the help of type 2 diabetes. It helps stabilize our body. It keeps our spines moving. And as a result, we have stability. And the number one thing, we need balance. We need to protect falls. So strength training is the glue. It's also a sense of empowerment. I'm standing and delivering and moving my body. There's a number of ways. Like cardio, you can go anything from swimming to bicycling to circuit training, strength training. You can use free weights, your own body. It's up to the imagination. But we want to challenge. But we want to challenge with small progression.
And flexibility is key, too.
Yeah. Be flexible.
Right.
I thought of that. Actually, in fitness, be flexible. Have a variety of things, but also for your body, learn to stretch and lengthen. Why? We want to be able to move and do daily living activities. In terms of exercise, it's a small amount of time compared to what we do in our daily lives. So being flexible and stretching is essential to keeping our movements full and expressive.
Now, I've heard you use the term boomeritis with me. Can you explain what that means?
I know it firsthand. Boomeritis is a condition that says when you're a highly competitive, driven person, you're not going to stop at any cost. You're going to push yourself into the ground. So one of the gifts of the boomers is they're advocates for change. They like to take charge, highly competitive, enthusiastic. But the drawback is if you get divorced from your body and the way it feels and don't tune in, you run the joints. So more boomers are ending up with early orthopedic problems because they're overdoing it. We've learned in exercise, it's the continuity, it's gentle, it's progressive. We all don't have to have a hero's worship every time we start.
So you've said some of the drawbacks. What are some of the positives of this pioneer attitude?
I think I'm going to share a story about the drawbacks and the pioneers that I personally experienced. I was going to enter a 24-hour marathon bike ride in Arizona.
Wow.
First mistake.
Anyway, being driven by driven, I went to a Navajo medicine man. I said, do you have something magical like an herb or something that will keep me going? He says, are you wanting to be Superman? I said, yes. Are you saying that you don't want to stop? I said, no, I want to keep going. I don't want to break down. I don't want to be fatigued. He says, I got something for you. I said, God, I found it. He comes out and gives me an apple. I said, this is just an apple. He says, I know. I know it's just an apple. What I want you to do is when you get tired and exhausted, get off, look at the sun, look at the riders passing you, greet them with thankfulness, and then be thankful you're out there.
Wow.
I'm going to give you a second apple because I don't think you're going to get it. And I hope it doesn't rot before you got the lesson. It did rot.
Wow.
What I've learned about fitness, it's a joy to be alive. Don't chase the dream. Be thankful for each step that you're given life.
What a beautiful
So it's learning to balance,
Right.
to enjoy competitiveness, and to learn to play.
Right.
And I
Kind
don't
of
think fitness should be a stress in your life. I mean, sometimes I, have anxiety about going to work out after work, but it really should be a calming thing. You're going to better your health, better your body and mind and everything.
I like what you said about calming because I believe that transitions are important. Learning to decompress before you go into the fitness, letting yourself elevate and pacing and being connected, and at the end, calming yourself down, affirming yourself and being thankful. And then, Paige, you can go back the next day and recreate it with calmness, a step at a time.
Well, that will be my New Year's resolution.
Stay calm.
Something else interesting that we have talked about is the baby boomer generation seems to be the most increasing population in fitness clubs today. Why do you think that is?
Well, first, statistically, I looked up some stuff. They make up 37% of the present market. There's 77 million. And why? Because fitness is an assertion, and boomers like to assert. They don't want to wait for disease and illness to catch them. They've actually shaped healthcare. They've asked doctors, let's prevent this. Give me a design. Let me check out where I'm starting. Then give me a map, and I want to achieve self-care. I'm going to live longer. I've got parents to take care of, children to take care of, a job. I need to be competitive and make it. I need the energy and health to keep going. So they take it as a prime responsibility.
And you also said they're the most stressed age group.
Yes. So it's a tenuous balance. We want to relieve stress, but take care of ourselves in a healthy, progressive place. So boomers are setting the stage. They're also changing medicine. They're saying, let's have integrative medicine. They're asking physicians to make referrals. They're saying, let's develop a network so that we can continue to be healthy and take care of our lives. And they're also very innovative in that they like all kinds of fitness. They diversified from the stationary equipment, and they can be in boot camps. They can be out there with the seniors in Tai Chi, and they can be on seniors, yeah. And I just want to say that my whole paradigm of aging has shifted so much as I've grown older. I also have the gift of working with people in their 80s and 90s at the Legacy. And I see progression with challenged people. I see spirit. I see singing. I really believe that we have a tremendous power to change your lives, and we can do it in gradual steps with thankfulness and other people's help.
That's great. What are some of your favorite exercises? What do you do to stay in such great shape?
Well, kayaking is my love. I love to be outdoors.
Where do you do that?
Well, the illustrious White Rock Lake.
Right.
Yes. I do it wherever there's water, but I live near White Rock Lake, so most of my stuff is there. I'm getting into a lot of cross-training. I just got a Kamagon water ball. It's the ball that moves and the water shifts around. So the challenge is it goes this way, and I got to pull the water back.
I haven't heard of that.
And I just got some fun little sand toys. Fitness toys to me are like play. I'm kind of a hyperactive child that likes a playground. So I like to do diversified things, but I want to say to people, pick what is good for you. A machine to get started is great. A recumbent bike that protects your back, stick on it. The best exercise is the one you do. And then there's a whole diversity of ways to express. See, fitness to me is emotional. It's learning to express yourself. And what is the most challenging for people is to get emotionally comfortable with the activity of expression. That's what I think we have to change in order to help people stick with it.
Great. Well, if you want to learn ways to better improve your life in 2012, you can just visit Dr. Richard Fine at The Legacy. The website is www.thelegacywb.org, or you can call 972-468-6200.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. I want to say thank you to our guests, Dr. Richard Fine and Dan Lee of Resort and Retirement.
And join us next week for our show on American Icons.